Yeah, what we want to do is have a bit of a discussion about what's a prime number and what it's all about. But before we will do that, what I want to know, what we want to do is define another word here, and the word here is factor. I don't know if you've heard this word before, but a factor is a number that you multiply together to give you another number. So if I've got 2 times 3 is equal to 6, 2 and 3 are both what we call factors. So because they multiply together to give you 6. So the factors of 6, two of the factors of 6 are 2 and 3. Also 1 and 6 are factors as well. So any number that divides evenly into another number is called a factor. So you can multiply them together to get another number, or 2 or 3 will divide evenly into 6 without any remainders. So like if you're looking at 12, 3 and 4 are factors because you can say 3 times 4 is 12. 2 and 6 are also factors because they multiply to give you 12. 1 and 12 are also factors because they multiply to give you 12. So any whole numbers that you can multiply to give you a number, another number, are factors of that other number. So 6 has factors of 1, 2, 3, and 6, because all those numbers can multiply by, do a multiplication to give you 6 there. So it's important to know what a factor is, because when we start talking about a prime numbers basically only have 2 factors, and that's itself and 1, which means that there's only 2 numbers that will divide into a prime number. That's itself, and 1 goes into any number because you can just multiply the number by 1 to give it itself. If it's not a prime number, it's what we call a composite number. So if we divide it evenly, it's a composite number. So we can divide 2 into a number. So any even number is a composite number, because 2 goes into every even number. The only exception to that would be the number 2. So 2 itself is a prime number because it has factors of itself and 1. The only way you can get it is 1 times 2. So 2 is a prime number, and it's the only even prime. So it's a little bit of trivia, nice little fact for you to know if you come across it. 2 is the only prime number that's even. Every other even number is what we call composite. So if you can see, like 6 is a composite number because we can divide 2 into it, or we can divide 3 into it. But if we get other ones like 7, you can't divide 7 into any other groups. You can only really write it as 7 times 1. You can't divide 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 into that. So it's what we call a prime number. So if you start talking prime numbers, we've got 2, 3, 5 as prime, 7's prime, 11, and then you can keep going. It goes on forever. So then there are always people trying to work on the highest find the highest prime number. Really, they use supercomputers to do that nowadays, because the numbers that get, and the highest prime number is really large, and it comes up every year or so. They'll find a new prime number. So you might want to have a look at Google and do a search on what's the largest prime number at the moment, because it keeps changing. It will keep changing over the years. So what we need to do is be able to know what a prime number is and what would be a composite number. The only one that really we haven't talked about is the idea of 1, and 1 itself is what we call neither prime nor composite. So we don't call it a prime number, even though it only has a factor of itself, but it's neither prime nor composite. So we don't classify it in either way there. So it's not composite because it hasn't got any other factors that go into it, and it's not prime either. So some of this might be new, some of this might be old to you, but what we've got to do is realize what we mean by factors, prime numbers, and composite numbers. Ready for our lessons next week.